This is Donkey Kong Land on the Super Game Boy. I remember seeing screenshots of this game when I was a kid in all of the magazines. I've never played it. So obviously it was released on Game Boy, but it was one of the video games that was optimized for the SNES using the Super Game Boy. So you'd plug the Game Boy cartridge into the Super Game Boy. Did you need a SNES cartridge in the back as well? I don't know. I can't remember. I've never used one. You've got this cool, like, jungle border and this tiny, tiny screen. And, yeah, like I say, I remember seeing screenshots. I'm sure there is a level or a stage set in a city, which you didn't get in Donkey Kong Country, of course. Oh, listen to that music. I think music is the same as Donkey Kong Country, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. This is cool. So, how would you get these big chunky sprites on the Game Boy? Well, I was reading up on this earlier, and basically, even though the SNES was a lot more powerful than the Nintendo Game Boy, of course, it used the same architecture, so developers found it very, very straightforward to port it straight across, apparently. And at some point, I'll try and see what else we can do with this. I think I'll be able to toggle the colour scheme here. I think you could do that with the SNES controller. I'm sure I have used the Super Game Boy when I was a kid. I wasn't expecting to see this rhino. I'm sure the rhino is not included in one of the handheld Donkey Kong countries, but I might have made that up. I don't know. Gameplay-wise, it's more or less the same as the SNES version. This is fantastic, but it's not Donkey Kong Country, it's Donkey Kong Land. But what I mean by that is the level design and that kind of thing is different. I know a lot about this game because it intrigued me when I was younger. And it had very, very good reviews. It is supposed to be hard though. Like Donkey Kong Country on the SNES is a fair challenge the further you get into the game. But I finished that game... not with ease, but yeah, I finished that game without breaking too much of a sweat. But apparently this is like shorter levels because it's handheld. That was terrible for me. I'm sliding on the ice. Shorter stages, but they're a lot harder. And they're a lot harder sooner. Donkey Kong Country on SNES obviously eases you into the game. It's not the case here. I like this. The graphics or the graphical effects here look fantastic. But it's hurting my eyes. It is hurting my eyes. I'm finding it difficult to differentiate. I can never say the word. I'll stop. Differentiate. You guys know what I mean. The scenery and the sprites, basically. It all sort of mashes all into one, doesn't it? Fantastic game though, this. I love it straight away. I've got a... Oh no! I am terrible at this. I've got a soft spot for Donkey Kong Country series. For me, I was starting to lose interest in the SNES. And then Donkey Kong... Ah, that damn snake again. You can't see what's in front of you because of the tiny screen. So you've got to... I might have to take it real slow. And if I keep dying, there'll be a quick edit, guys. I'll use some save states and try and get through the level. But I'll cut out the save stating. Or the save scumming, as some people call it. Yeah, I found that Donkey Kong Country gave the SNES a new lease of life. For me, it did. I was starting to tire of the SNES. Which is a silly thing to say with hindsight because of its game library. But when this arrived, or not this, but Donkey Kong Country arrived, it just the screenshots in the magazines, it blew my mind. I was like, right, I need to play this. I need to buy this game. And I had it for Christmas from my parents. And it was... Well, you all know what Donkey Kong Country's like. I'd never seen graphics like it in a platformer. To this day, it still looks gorgeous. Anyway, back to this game. Keep talking about Donkey Kong Country on SNES. Should we just turn this off and play that? Yeah. Reviews were like in the high 8s or 80s. I think it had a 93% score at CMVG, Computer and Video Games Magazine. And it's just a good video game. It's very highly regarded. There's a Donkey Kong Land, or DK Land 2, and there's DK Land 3. I think 3 is the first of the Donkey Kong lands to feature on the Game Boy Color or the Game Boy Advance. I'm not entirely sure which one. This is only available on Game Boy, and in this case, the Super Game Boy. But yeah, super easy getting this emulation going for the Super Game Boy. Really easy. I thought it'd be a lot more to it than there is. So it's cool to be able to play some of these optimized games. I need to check out some other Super Game Boy games. I mean, it's not a lot different, of course, to the Game Boy version. It's just the color palette and that kind of thing is different. Anyway, let's do this. Oh. But if I keep dying, like I say, I'll edit the video. So enemies... I was going to say enemy placements are different, but the stages are completely different. Did we even get this snow stage in Donkey Kong Country, like in a second, or as a second level? We didn't, did we? I don't think. We definitely didn't get a city. Although that might be Donkey Kong Land 2. But I do remember seeing it like a city level, where you're jumping around the rooftops and stuff. Oh my god. Right, guys, quick edit. Let's get through this stage, or try to, and then see what the next stage is. You gotta love save states, guys. But anyway, you could do this. Look. I forgot all about this. I think you could do this in most of the Super Game Boy optimized or enhanced games, maybe? I don't know. It was just a way to play some Game Boy games on your telly. The comfort of your telly and a proper controller, I guess. It's a cool idea. It's no different to today, where you can buy a dock for your Steam Deck and run it through your big telly or your Switch. Your Switch you know what the Switch does, it docks. Oh, dearie me, Mike. I always over-explain stuff when I don't need to, because you guys are more than clued up on all this video game malarkey. You know more than me. You should take over the channel, I'll just sit and watch. Hey? Anyway, I was hoping it'd be the city, so maybe it's not in this game, maybe it is, who knows. It's more jungle, but I like this. There's not much more to say about it. I like the fact you could do that. I think I preferred this colour scheme for the jungle. Sounds good. It's a bit glitchy. That might be emulation woes, though, in regards to the sound. But yeah, let me know what you thought of this game, guys. And look out for more content coming to the channel. I'll speak to you all soon.